Hey, everybody. Welcome to Big Blend Radio's second Friday, second Friday Food, Wine, and Travel Show with the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. And every second Friday, we interview their travel writer or photographer members. We talk about their travels. We talk about destinations they want us to cover and feature, and also talk about their writing and the craft of it. And we talk about basic travel too. And we always get some good travel tips, whether it's packing or what to do with photos and how to take notes, how to plan. So it's always pretty exciting to have these awesome writers on our show. And I encourage you to go to the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association website. We call it IFTWA, by the way, because it's so much easier. It's ifwtwa.org. And today we're super excited. We're welcoming Lisa Evans on the show. It's always cool to have another Lisa on the show. She is joining us to talk about coastal Mississippi, and she calls it the Secret Coast. You can read her story. It's on nationalparktraveling.com, and it will also be featured in the upcoming issue of Parks and Travel magazine. But I encourage you to follow her adventures. Go to writerlisa.com. And for more on the Gulf Coast or the coastal Mississippi, go to gulfcoast.org. So welcome, Lisa. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Oh,
we're good.
We're good. We're recording today from Lake Worth, Florida. So we're not that far, I feel. Right. Well, kind of, but you know what I mean? We got the ocean going and we're on the other side of the Gulf, though.
Yeah.
But we love your area, coastal Mississippi. Nancy and I have driven through there.
That's
stopped
beautiful.
in Gulfport at this monster park, like a huge park. Yes. I mean, that and it's beautiful with a harbor. And which park is that? Because I know you're right about that.
It is Jones Park in downtown Gulfport. It's absolutely beautiful. You can find the harbor, all the boating, the boat docks, the fishing, everybody loves it. And actually, in Jones Park, starting tonight, actually, is our Gulfport Winter Lights Festival. And it'll go on through the new year. And they have, I believe it's like over 1 million Christmas lights and decorations. And
wow,
I'll be going there sometime this weekend, taking my pictures. And it's absolutely wonderful. I don't know, it started a few years ago and it's just grown and grown. It's a beautiful place.
What water and lights.
Exactly.
Really, it's amazing.
Magic.
Amazing. Yeah.
And how long does it last? Does it go through the whole month of December?
Yes, it goes through the whole month of December. And I think it actually just brings in the new year. And then, they pack it all away. Unfortunately, last year, even with COVID, they were going to try and do it. But unfortunately, Hurricane Zeta came through and they had just started putting up all the decorations, and Zeta took care of that. So we didn't have it last year. But it's coming back bigger and better this year, I'm told. So I'm really looking forward to going to see that this week.
Ooh, nice.
I love that you are talking about coastal Mississippi and Mississippi in general, because I think we just don't hear that much about Mississippi unless you're traveling or live in the Southeast. And we've been doing a lot in the Southeast, but you just, it's like, it is a secret coast. And, we love the whole, like going in through Alabama, Florida, Louisiana, that whole area is magical. And, we're talking about national parks. You've got the Gulf Shores, seashore. You have a seashore there. And
we have 62 miles of coastline, and we have the longest man-made beach at 26 miles. So basically we cover from the border of Louisiana to the border of Alabama. And you can travel along Highway 90, which is, I can tell you, there's nothing more relaxing than driving along Highway 90 and
it's beautiful.
Watching the water. It's
amazing,
gorgeous.
Yeah.
And
we
so we're that little landmass, but it's absolutely beautiful. Ship Island is part of the National Seashore, and Ship Island is wonderful. You can get to it by ferry. And Fort Massachusetts is out there. I would encourage anyone that goes to Ship Island to walk through that. It's really cool. And then you hang out on the beach and they ferry you back and forth. And it's just an absolutely beautiful way to spend a day. I can remember last time I was out there, I swimming with the crabs and the fish and even a couple of sharks. They stayed away, but it was just really cool to just, and the waters are so warm. It's just beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
I love this.
Do you have, I saw the picture of the ghost crab.
The ghost crab, yes.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty cool.
He
Seriously
is cool. And I took that picture actually walking through Fort Massachusetts. They come out and and then when you walk up to them, they skitter away, but they're out there, and you have to be careful when you're walking around, but they're pure white, and it's really cool. Especially inside the fort, they they skitter all around,
Oh, weird.
but they're brilliant white, so you can find them, but it is pretty neat.
Wow.
That's cool. That,
That's
talking
cool.
about crabs, the seafood has got to be a highlight for people to
Mm.
enjoy while they're there. It's like, here's the coast and from the boat to the plate.
It is actually, you can go down to the piers when the fishermen come in, and you can buy it off the ship. That's where
Really?
oh yeah, and that's where a lot of
Wow.
you can buy it off the shrimpers. A lot of the restaurants, they go there and they have contracts with them, of course, but they go and they pick it up first thing in the morning, and you can't get any fresher shrimp. And if I'm not mistaken, the Gulf of Mexico accounts for like 69% of all the domestic shrimp in the United States.
Wow.
So it's just fabulous. And one of my favorite things to see is first day of shrimping season. Obviously that's dependent upon, all the different things that's going on in the ecosystem as to when they open shrimp season. But the first day of shrimp season, when you're driving along, you see the shoreline, the horizon is dotted with all the shrimpers. It's just awesome to see.
And these are mostly family businesses.
Yes, a lot.
See, that's
Yes, they're
cool.
all a lot of Asian, Vietnamese shrimpers. Biloxi was actually once known as the seafood capital of the world. So and a lot of families come here. They're hardworking people. I'll tell you what, it's not easy. It's not
Yeah.
easy being out there, and because you're at the mercy of Mother Nature
Mhm.
for various things. Wind, rain. Just how things grow. For the shrimp and the oysters, and a lot of deep sea fishermen. A lot of people like to come down, and they will hire one of the boats, and they'll go out and do deep sea fishing, and that's like a nice little tourism thing as well. But the shrimpers and they're hardworking crew, man. They really
Wow.
are.
I like that you can go, right to them,
Oh yeah.
and support, because I think we've gotten so commercial with things, so, corporate with food, and it's
Mhm.
just really nice to have that actual connection, and you have more appreciation as the consumer, like literally
And
consume the food.
you have to be there first thing in the morning. I'll tell you though, they don't
Mm,
because if you're not there early in the morning, you
mhm.
probably don't get the pick of the lot there.
Yeah.
So,
That
and
makes
a lot
sense.
of people, it's kind of, I know this guy, and they know when their boat is coming back in, because most of the shrimpers will go out for a day or two and then come back with their catch and to refuel and all of that kind of thing. So
Oh,
you
wow.
kind of have to know somebody to know when a particular, boat is coming back in. But yeah, you can go down and buy it right off the dock.
Wow.
Wow. That's
So,
cool.
you talk about Biloxi, and we
Mm.
had fun in there, Nancy. We went,
Well,
I remember
yeah.
going into the Hard Rock Casino. Oh, they had like
Mm.
a big, this was actually quite a while ago.
A
They
long time
had
ago.
like a rock and roll exhibit in there, and like you could see, yeah, David Bowie stuff, Rod Stewart stuff. I mean, it's like
Mm.
Janis Joplin. Like, I was like, okay, leave me here for the weekend. And we had to keep traveling. And I'm like, no, I want to come back. It
Mm.
was, and I remember winning money. We had a Bloody
Yes.
Mary. We had a road trip stop, and we had a Bloody Mary.
Yeah.
We looked at the music, and exhibit, and won money, and said, we better run.
Yeah. Before
But
it
we really wanted
changes.
to stay, because I think that's one thing about Mississippi, is the casinos.
Mhm.
It's really neat, because they're all on boats. They're not
Yeah.
land, right? Even in Natchez, right? They're
Well,
all on boats.
that changed a little bit. Some of the laws
Mm.
changed a little bit after
Oh,
Katrina.
oh,
It used to
Oh.
be that they had to be actually on the water, but because Katrina did such damage to a lot of the casinos, now they can, if their casino can be on the water, but it doesn't necessarily have to be, as long as they were here prior to. And
okay.
they also have to do something other than a casino. They have to have a resort, have a golf. They have to have
Oh.
something else for people to do rather than just gamble. And that's why we have such absolutely gorgeous golf courses. I mean, we have championship golf courses from some of our big casinos. They bring in, we have a PGA tournament here. They bring in some big name golfers to, and then of course we have oh goodness, I want to say 11 or 12. I've lost track of the casinos we have here now. And most of them are in the city of Biloxi. We do have some in Jackson County, or no, I'm sorry, not Jackson County, Hancock County. There's a couple in Gulfport actually, but the bulk of them are in Biloxi, right along the beach. But they bring in, that's if you want a place if you're into gaming and you want a place to come that is not a Las Vegas kind of place, and you want beautiful scenery, you've got a couple of the casinos that are right on the water. They're just, they overlook, they're just, it's
cool.
beautiful.
I always heard that Biloxi was like the beach destination for Louisiana, which I always thought was interesting because I love the coastline of Louisiana too. But like New Orleans, historically, people would go from New Orleans to Biloxi.
Well, actually, a lot of people that live in New Orleans and can do so have summer homes over here. In my neighborhood alone, there's I think at least 2 or 3 houses. One couple's from Baton Rouge, and the other is from New Orleans. They just, they have their other house, so that when, if they're not into Jazz Fest in New Orleans, they come over here. Just because when things get crazy in New Orleans, they come here. Past Christian has a lot of second homes. I don't know if you've ever heard of Robin Roberts, but that's her hometown. So she lives, she's from the past. And then, we have a couple other celebrities, of course. We got Jimmy Buffett from Pascagoula, and then Brett Favre was born in Gulfport. So, we've got some local,
well, you got a lot of music. You got the music history. See, now that I actually, we travel full time, so we're not, it's a suitcase each, a carry bag each, and computer camera gear. And a lot of wine, but
make room for the wine.
So we're not allowed to take that much because you just can't. We're not an RV. We're in a RAV4, and we keep it light. But the one book I made sure to keep, and I think it was Steve Chesborough wrote it, is my Mississippi Blues Guide. It's a blues trail guide. And I'm like, we are doing this, and then I didn't even realize it started at the coast, and of course it. What why I wouldn't think it would be in your backyard, but I always thought it was up in more in Jackson and all of that area, but I'm wrong.
Well, the Mississippi Blues Trail actually does go throughout the state of Mississippi. We do have several markers here on the coast. The one that I would highly encourage you to visit the next time is 100 Men Hall. 100 Men Hall is in Bay St. Louis. And it is just absolutely wonderful. It was one of the stops on the Chitlin circuit. And, it was basically made for the African Americans because way back, look back in history, they weren't allowed to do a lot of other things. And so the 100 Men Hall was kind of their gathering spot. And it's truly a very interesting place. Rachel is the lady that owns and runs it now, and she can give you a tour. It's, they have special events during the summer, but there's the mural on the side of the building is just absolutely wonderful. And when I toured it, it was just inside. She tells you they have their wall of fame and all of the musicians that have been through there, and the stage. It's the original stage from B.B. King and Etta James and all the greats. And when you can feel it when you're in there, and when you're looking at it, you can feel it. It's just so much history. But that is one of the markers on the Blues Trail. We have several other here on the coast. A lot of influential thing, with the blues musicians. And actually one of the things I'm really excited about, and it's not open yet, they're working on it, but Ground Zero in Biloxi is going to be the newest. It's going to be a blues club, and I believe Morgan Freeman has a part of it.
Dude,
cool. It's called Ground Zero.
Sorry, I can't stop it, but
I was going to say, I can't wait till it opens. It's going to be wonderful.
I want to go. I want to go. We covered some.
Yeah.
We actually had BB King's daughter, one of his daughters, on our show,
Oh,
and
nice.
like,
Mm.
and a lot of the second generation, like Carol, Carol, Carla Cook, Sam Cook's daughter, and people, like John Lee Hooker's daughter, Zakia's been
Yeah, oh,
on.
yes.
So
Mm.
we're all like, it's like whatever you can do about the blues. And there's something about hearing the blues in its homelands. There's just a difference. I know, California has a good blues
Yep.
scene, and but there's something like every time we get to Mississippi, it's one of the places I love to we turn the radio on as we
Yeah.
drive. But Mississippi, you're gonna hear blues, soul, funk, gospel. I mean, and it's not the typical thing that you always hear. It's beyond the B-side.
Well, as you go up through the state, you're gonna see different blues music. You got blues and then you get into the Delta region, and they have a different style of blues.
Yeah.
And then you get upward toward, and then obviously we have Tupelo in the state of Mississippi. Elvis, you gotta have it. You gotta be Elvis.
Yeah.
Memphis is kind of right across the border. It's the whole Mississippi Blues Trail, and there is an app. I have it on my phone, so every time Natchez has a couple of markers, and it's all the way up through the river, and it's just so interesting to see all the places within the entire state of Mississippi. Not just, coastal, we love our markers as well, but if you could go to download the app for Mississippi Blues Trail, go to the website. It gives you all the markers you can check in. It's really cool.
It's
very
cool.
Nancy,
That's
what we're
cool.
doing. I know we're
Yeah.
supposed to drive west, in February? We might have to just spend like
Detour.
detour in Mississippi.
Detour.
And you have to do it in shifts because there's so much to see. I started out one day with this grand idea that I was gonna, I was asked to write an article on the Mississippi Blues Trail, which I am doing, but I had this grand idea that I was going to be able to visit all these places. And I went, yeah, that's going to take years. So I got to do it in sections.
Yeah, because there's all the graveyards too, the cemeteries.
Dude,
Yep.
sounds like a book.
It is a book. You got
It is. Well,
Steve
it's going to be a
Chesbrough.
book
Yeah.
for at least for coastal Mississippi. That's one of the things
cool.
I'm doing.
Oh,
Awesome.
well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's think
Yeah.
back a little bit about you getting to Mississippi, because you sure don't have a Mississippi accent. But you can pronounce all those names. We got Pascagoula. Am I doing that right?
No, I'm actually what's referred to as a damn Yankee. I'm a Yankee that moved here and stayed. So, although after close to 10 years, I might be losing that. I'm not real sure. It just depends on who you talk to. But yeah, I had visited here years ago. I'm originally from Central New York.
Okay.
And as you know, the weather in New York is not always very nice. And the older I got, the more I disliked it. I mean, the New York is beautiful, has its beautiful places as well, but I just didn't like the cold in the winter. I'm just not a winter person. So I had visited here a couple of times and literally fell in love. I mean, I tell the story all the time. I visited in February, and when I left Central New York, it was snowing and 0 degrees. I came down to coastal Mississippi, and it was just absolutely beautiful. It was like probably in the 70s. It was nothing but sun.
Wow.
There was flowers blooming. Everything was green.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
I literally spent the week in shorts and a tank top, and everybody here local thought I was crazy because they're all in their sweaters and everything else. And I'm like, you people have no idea. But it was just absolutely gorgeous. And it took me 10 years to get back. So finally I just up and relocated and decided that I'd had enough of the weather. And I came down here, and there's just, people have a misconception about Mississippi, and especially, all parts of Mississippi, but coastal Mississippi, and they don't understand everything that's here, the beauty, the history, the music, everything. And just the nature and the beauty alone is, like I said, it's just absolutely gorgeous. And so I've been here close to 10 years now, and just absolutely love it.
Oh, and what
Cool.
about your writing? How did that get started? Because now look, you're talking books. I mean,
Yeah.
and
cool.
I just want to say, getting your article from you and just in working with you on even putting the segment together has been a pure delight. So I just
Well,
want to
thank
say
you.
that. Absolutely.
Thank you. Well, I don't, honestly, it was kind of one of those things where, cause I have a regular job, what I call my day job. And this is kind of my side gig at the moment, but it kind of was like, I started thinking, well, what do I want to do in the future? When I do retire, and just some little voice kept saying in my head, right, just, right. And I always love to write. And I've been a reader forever. I would read books like it was going out of style. And I just, and he'll love this, but I had an English teacher in high school who he was just, he was wonderful. The vocabulary and the reading and the writing and creative writing. He was just fabulous. So shout out to Mr. Chambers, but he was just, he really had a significant impact on how I look at things. And so as I was, like I said, little voice just said, right. So I was like, okay. So, and then of course you do all the research and it says, well, find your niche, find what you want to do, that whole thing. And so then you got to step back and go, all right, well, what do I like to do? Well, I like to travel. I've not always had the ability to do so. I had kids, my kids are grown now and they have kids of their own, but it was just one of those things that I always like to visit new places and meet new people and see new things. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe I can combine the two. And hence, just started, travel writing. And then of course you read about doing things locally to start with. So I think my first article was about a place in central New York called Bald Mountain and Old Forge, New York. It's in actually northern. And that was my first one. And I, published it and got well received. And I thought, okay, well, let's keep going on this. So I just started a little bit at a time and just, and now that I'm in coastal Mississippi, well, I was when I wrote my first article back in 2017, but it said, write what you know about. So that's what I knew about at the time. And so I spent the last several years learning all about coastal Mississippi and, writing different things. And so, yeah, I was approached, let's see, a few months back. Thankfully, they called our coastal Mississippi tourism board and I had made contact with our PR rep there and she's just absolutely wonderful. And they called and said, hey, we're looking to do a book on coastal Mississippi. Who would you recommend? So she gave them my name. And so hence started out. So I'm under contract to write a book. It's going to be called The 100 Things to Do in Coastal Mississippi Before You
wonderful.
Die.
Oh, yeah. That's
And
an awesome series. That's it. Because they do it all over.
Yes,
in
they do
different-
it
it's
all over the
awesome.
United States.
Well,
And so-
congratulations. That's awesome.
Thank you. And it'll be
Yeah.
published fall of next year. I'm working on gathering everything and then I'll start sitting down and actually writing it and getting it all done. It'll be submitted by spring. And then it should be published in fall of next year.
That
Awesome.
is awesome. Very,
Yeah,
very cool.
Cool.
Yes,
You
it
know,
is.
I wanted to say too, just reading your article, you've got a really cool balance of not over being personal, but not over personal, like giving you, like you feel like you're sitting down with a friend telling you what they should see or do. And I think that's really cool when it comes to travel but
Right.
I also think that you do come off like a major authority on coastal Mississippi. I was like, well, she should run the visitor bureau. Not saying that
Well,
anything's
it's-
wrong with
it-
anyone there. I'm just saying it just feels like you're really a champion for the area.
Well, you know what, I do. I love the area. And like I said, as my contact, Anna at the CVB said, I can still look at coastal Mississippi with a new view. I wasn't born and raised here.
See,
So
yeah.
it's not jaded to me. Everything is new and everything is cool and everything is beautiful. And I just, and I've had other cities approach me and say, hey, especially during COVID, that said, hey, we can't really bring you up right now, but hey, would you write, if
Yeah.
we give you all the pictures and all the information, would you write a story on us? And I was like, it's very, very difficult for me to write something that I haven't visited.
Yeah.
Exactly.
know,
Yeah.
It's like in sales, you can't sell something that you don't believe in. You can't sell a
Exactly.
product or a place. You can't do that without knowing it and loving it. And
Yeah.
I can't write about a place if I haven't visited.
Yeah.
And I know other writers do it all the time. And you know what? Kudos to them. God bless them. I personally can't do it. I need to
We can't
be there
either.
smell
No.
it and taste it and feel it and do it. And just, it's
Yeah.
just me.
You don't get the
You're right.
spirit of the place if you don't go.
Yeah, I have a difficult, I mean, and I mean, I have my dream destinations and maybe one day I'll get there. We'll see. But for the moment, I write what I write what I love and what I like about a place. And I mean, coastal Mississippi has so many things. And like I said, there's a lot of people that don't understand I mean, we have museums, we have history, we have beauty, nature, everything. And there's a lot of people that don't have a clue that we have all that here. And so kind of, I want to be the one to tell them.
Well,
See,
you should
that's a
be.
difference between a textbook and somebody who's writing from personal experience who has passion for the area.
Yeah, that's the word, passion. She's got passion.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do. I mean, like I said, I do love the area. And of course everybody has their days when it's like, oh, whatever why did this happen? Whatever. But I mean, then I drive along the beach and it's just, it's so calming and just so absolute. The sunsets and the sunrises, I can tell you, are just absolute. This time of year, especially. Oh my, the sunsets are just simply gorgeous.
That's when we were driving across and had our little sandwiches and our wine. Don't tell anybody. Don't take our license plate. Well, we sat in the park. Well, when you're on the road, you're in your car and everything. But we went and had our little picnic, and we walked the harbor, and just was so cool. And what some of the places you were writing about are on our list. Like, I want to go. But we had our sandwiches and our wine, and we're just relaxing for a couple of hours, driving wise. And the sunset was magical. It was a little bit of a stormy evening because there was a hurricane on its way that we were actually dodging. But it was so and it's so neat because there's also like trees and forest areas too, just around the corner. And so to me, major nature people, I want to go back because you've got the Pascagoula. That's the background, right? Is Pascagoula where the
Pascagoula River Audubon Center. That is
awesome.
actually, that is wonderful. And I kind of stumbled upon that. I was just looking for something to do and took a kayak out in the river.
Oh, cool.
I mean, you can bring your own kayak or they will rent you one. And it's on the Pascagoula River, which is the longest, I believe, free flowing river in the lower 48. And the ecosystems, because you got to remember where you are, you've got the fresh water and the salt water. So you got the Gulf of Mexico and the Mississippi Sound is actually an estuary anyway. It's the whole ecosystem is so unique down here. And the Pascagoula River, I mean, when I was kayaking, it was just really cool. I saw the snowy egret and, you see alligators in the marsh and the eagles and the ospreys and the cormorants and it's just so
awesome.
Yeah, it's just, and then when you get out of the river, you can go inside and see displays and you can learn all you want to do about the area and about the river. And it's this little teeny tiny place off the beaten path. And then I went back which was really cool. They had a hummingbird festival. And they actually, and it was in September when the hummingbirds are migrating back down. And I literally got to touch one. It was the coolest thing. Because they're this little tiny thing, but they bring them in and they tag them. And to watch these ladies and gentlemen and they handle them and they tag them so that they can kind of track where they go and how far they migrate. And, if the same ones come back and all of that. And these things, they're just so tiny. And to feel their little heartbeat, it was really cool experience.
So they're banding them too, and they're doing that so that there's
they catch them and they catch them with like nets and things, and and then they bring them and they like I said, they ban them. I think they ban them. I'm not sure how they mark them. I was too interested in watching, just watching the birds there because they're just so tiny. And then they just let them go, and it's just absolutely wonderful. And so they built a festival around it. And you can go there and you can buy native plants and you can tour, you can kayak, you can do coastal Mississippi, we love our festivals. And then the Hummingbird Festival, it's just, just a couple of different things, but it really is absolutely beautiful. And it's just so calming. You kayak out of the little bay that's behind you, and then you go out into the river, and it just is really, it's just
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Nancy.
No, I'm
I'm
It's
serious.
down.
totally
Okay,
worth
I'm down.
if we can make it in February, you want to go? Let's all go kayaking.
Oh, yeah.
There you
Yeah.
go. But you go there and yeah, Pascagoula River Audubon Center. It's beautiful place. It just,
Oh,
Cool.
and it's just so calming. And I mean, you can take they have actual boat tours as well if you don't feel like kayaking, but that's, like I said, coastal, we love our festivals, our boat tours, anything on the water and nature. If you can,
Yeah.
if you can think it, we have it.
oh
You can
man,
go see gators if you want. You can go to the
we
I
want to
gators.
do
love
that.
it. Yeah.
We want to go. We want to go out on the boats. I love being out on the water because it gives you a different perspective of inland as well,
Mhm,
and it's a
mhm.
different way of seeing wildlife. Because
Yes.
you're always it's just, especially on a kayak, if you want to see birds and everything and
Yeah.
And
gators.
gators.
Oh,
Gators.
Cool.
we've been doing a
Cool.
whole gator thing from North Carolina, South
Yeah.
Carolina, Georgia. We've got and the Florida Panhandle.
Mm,
Well,
So now we're
look
gonna
up
have
the
to do
Gator
this now.
Ranch. Look
the
up the
Gator
Gator
Ranch.
Ranch in Moss Point, and I mean, I've been there. It's been a few years, but I've been there, and you can actually touch the baby alligators, and they have some big alligators there. I'll tell you, they really do. But you got the gators, and we have boat tours if you want to just go out on the sound.
I like to see them in the wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
I recently, and well, they have an airboat tour out of the Gator Ranch. And then if you want to go out on the Mississippi Sound, there's multitudes of boat tours. One of the things I recently did was the Biloxi shrimping trip, and that was really cool. Took us out and they showed us actually how a shrimper works and how they catch them, and just really, really a neat thing to do. Let's see, tour. I mean, like I said, you got the Biloxi schooners. If you want to ride on a schooner, you can go on that. The Twisted Tiki was really cool.
This is interesting. Yeah, because this is also a very good family destination.
Oh yes. It's very, you can bring your kids. There's lots there, and each year they're adding more and more kids stuff. We've got a big play center, we've got go-karts, we've got the Biloxi shrimping tour. When I took it, there was kids on there and they were really enjoying it because they actually were able to touch the shrimp and the different things that were caught, that were brought up in the net. The kids were just fascinated.
Oh,
So
that's
that
cool.
was
The Twisted Tiki, though, that's got to be something.
the Twisted
You were
Tiki
saying,
was
yeah.
fun. I did the Sunset Cruise, and it was something. It's just one more way to get out on the water. But I'll tell you what, it was fun. The music's great. It's just, and it's just takes you out on the sound a little bit, and coming back in, it's dark, so you see all the city, all the city lights, and they play really great music. They have a bar there, you can get some couple of drinks, and it's just a relaxing way to go out on the water for a couple hours and just enjoy. Stop off at Deer Island, which is one of our barrier islands. We have 6 of them. And so we stopped out on Deer Island, walked around, everybody gets off the boat, you just kind of hang out for, I don't know, 20 minutes, half hour, then you hop back on the boat and come back in. But it's just relaxation and just a way to unwind. They have tours during the day for the kids and everything else. And now I think they're actually sailing out of Bay St. Louis as well. So they have different areas where you can stay. The one that I went on left out of Biloxi, they have one over in Bay St. Louis as well. So pretty much anything you want on the water you can get. One of the things I'm going to do, I missed out on it before the Halloween, was the ghost tour, the ghost boat. And so now I'm going to do the Christmas one. So hopefully that'll be within, and I gotta think what it's called. It's a really cool name, Christmas, but it's going out there and it's going to be really, I'm looking forward to it. And I believe they do a walking cemetery tour. So
cool.
all kinds of things. I mean, anything that you can think of, I think we could probably take care of it.
Awesome. I love this. I want to give everyone the website again is gulfcoast.org. And also, of course, you can follow Lisa on writerlisa.com. Really good domain name. And the article again is up on nationalparktraveling.com. Just type in coastal Mississippi, you'll find it. And you really give everybody a nice overview of what they can do. And then, give them a taste of, what it seems like it's for everybody. You'll find something for everyone. But, just in your writing, and I know you're a member of IFTWA, obviously
Yes.
some other organizations. Has that helped you on your writing journey, being part of the associations?
Yes, actually, I mean, I enjoy, like, I'm a firm believer that you're never too old to learn something new.
Yeah,
And
right.
IFTWA is great on learning. I mean,
Nice
they
to
do
know.
so many webinars and interesting sessions on different writing aspects, as well as different destinations, and learn all about the wine. It's just they do a great job with the learning aspect of it. And of
Cool.
course, networking. You
Mm.
meet people, even if it's long distance and you've never perhaps met in a person, you're likely to have seen them on a Zoom meeting or something. And so the networking and learning, I think, are two of the biggest things that I have gotten out of it. I mean, I haven't, and then of course last year the conference had to be canceled due to COVID. So I'm hoping to get to the one in 2022.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens,
They're
because
working on that now. Yeah.
yeah, and I believe, I mean, I have to believe it's just as much and more at, in person. They have a great team there that works all together, and, they all work, they're from all the, they're writers and editors, and it's just, I mean, one of the stories I actually did on Lost Point was through a connection in that, found me in IFTWA's directory. And it was just really,
See, that's awesome.
yeah, and hopefully, and I'm sure that there are other writers that do the same. And it just, like I said, the networking and the learning, I mean, it's really, places that you wouldn't necessarily, have heard of or gone to, or like vineyards, especially obviously with the wine, and you just learn so much.
We like
Awesome.
that part of it.
Right. We do.
We do. I love following them on Twitter,
Mhm.
and all social media, Facebook, Instagram, everyone. It's hashtag IFWTWA. Also their website, ifwtwa.org. And again, every second Friday, we chat with travel writers like Lisa. We learn about destinations. And also every second Tuesday, we chat with their associate members, which are mostly like visitor bureaus, wineries. We learn about the destinations from them as well. So a lot going on the second week with our IFTWA friends. So keep up with us on that. And of course, we air daily over here at bigblendradio.com is the website to go to. So thank you so much, Lisa. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you for
Awesome.
having me.
Yeah, I know. I want to go.
Mhm.